So as you see that in the first in the morning session, we have started the chapter HVDC transmission system. Are you see this screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first we start from the history. We see the what is the how evolution of power system start and how the first DC system was built. Then after AC system and then single phase and three phase AC system. Clear? And then after how HVDC system come into picture, what are the disadvantage of AC system at that time, and then we move towards the HVDC system because of the invention of the mercury arc valve in the 1950. It is possible that through the converter we can convert AC to DC. So it is very easy to transmit the power at high voltage level through the DC cable, but again we generate the power through the AC generator. So first HVDC transmission was built between Sweden and Gotland Island. You see the pictures of that, and we start that limitation of HVAC transmission system. Clear? So one by one we go through in the detail about that limitation of HVAC transmission system. So that limitation is nothing but this is the advantage of HVDC system. Clear? So whatever the limitation of HVAC or whatever the disadvantage of HVAC system, that is nothing but advantage of HVDC system. That's why we implement nowadays some DC system for certain situation. So let's start that one by one, the limitation of HVDC system. Are you able to see the screen? All of you?
No, sir.
Yes or no? Yes?
No.
No, sir.
Now you can see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So first we start with the limitation of HVAC system. Clear? This limitation of HVAC system is nothing but advantage of HVDC system. The first limitation of HVAC system is that reactive power loss. So what is reactive power loss? As we know that in the AC line there are two power. We know that apparent power is nothing but P plus JQ. P is nothing but active power and Q is nothing but reactive power. Okay. Q is reactive power. So loss. So we know the equation of active power loss, that is simple, I square R losses, that is the active power loss. Then what is the Q loss? So the equation for Q loss is that I square into XL minus V square divided by XC. So what is XL? That is nothing but inductive reactance of the line as well as transformer. Clear? So inductance, because of inductance and frequency, as we know the equation of XL is 2 pi FL. So because of frequency and inductance of transmission line as well as transformer, that create the inductive reactance. Same way, what is XC? It is 1 upon 2 pi FC. Clear? So here again, because of capacitance is formed between line or between line to ground. So here see that suppose this is a three-phase system, R, Y or B. This is a three-phase AC system. So because of the line charging between the two line charging capacitance form, this capacitive reactance come into picture, XC. Clear? That may be between the line or between line to ground. Suppose this is between B phase and to ground. So due to this charging capacitance, that form the capacitive reactance. So here in the loss equation of Q is nothing but reactive power loss. Reactive power loss I square into XL. So this part is nothing but a loss of reactive power, and this is a reactive power supplied by this charging capacitor. Clear? So overall loss in the line, that is reactive power loss minus reactive power supply. So total loss is this one. Clear? Because capacitance provide the reactive power and inductor absorb the reactive power. So because of that inductance, reactive power loss happens, and because of XC, they inject the reactive power. So overall loss is nothing but I square XL minus V square upon XC. Clear? So that is not possible in case of DC system, because in DC system we know that F is what? 0. So if F is 0, so you can see that in the XL equation, XL is 0. Same way in the XC equation, 1 upon 2 pi FC, F is 0. So XC is also 0. Clear? So it means that there is no reactive power loss in the DC system. Clear? Only active power loss is possible. That is nothing but I square R loss. This one. Clear? Because only resistance is present. There is no reactance, inductive reactance or capacitive reactance. Clear? So this is the biggest advantage of HV DC system, and this is a limitation of HV AC system. So this is the first limitation. Second is that current carrying capability. Second is stability. Second we go for stability. So first of all, what is stability? So if you know that P angle delta curve, suppose I draw that P angle delta curve. In y-axis there is active power, in x-axis there is a delta. So here I draw the stability graph of the AC line. Okay, AC line. For AC line, how much maximum active power you can transmit? So for that, from the P delta curve, suppose this is a P delta curve here, and this is the maximum power which you can transmit through the transmission line, AC transmission line. At which angle? So that is at angle delta maximum, which is nothing but 90 degree. Clear? So as per the equation of active power transmission in the transmission line, which is nothing but V1 V2 divided by X into sine delta. So suppose that here this is a generator bus, and this is a transmission line inductive reactance, and this is suppose the load bus where load is connected. Suppose load bus voltage V2 is at angle delta 2 and generator bus voltage V1 angle delta 1. So why we here consider the only X? Because the value of resistance of the transmission line is very less than the X. So that's why here we neglect this R and we consider that only reactance. Clear? Actual practice there is Z, which is R plus JX. Clear? But value of this R is very small. That's why we consider only X. So it is nothing but only JX. Clear? So as per the equation of active power flow in the transmission line, suppose here the generator, so active power flow from here to here. Clear? So as per the equation, V1 is nothing but generator bus voltage, V2 is load bus voltage divided by X, that is a transmission line as well as transformer inductive reactance, into sine delta. So here delta is what? That is nothing but difference between delta 1 and delta 2. Delta 1 is a generator bus angle and delta 2 is the load bus angle. So that difference between delta 1 and delta 2, that is nothing but this delta. So when this delta is maximum, or sorry, when this delta is 90 degree, not a maximum, when this delta is 90 degree, at that time you get sine delta is what? 1. So at that time you can transmit the maximum power. Here you can transmit the maximum power from this generator to load side. So here you can see that in the P angle delta curve, at delta max 90 degree, you can transmit the maximum power. But what is the problem in the AC line? If you operate your AC line at this angle delta, what will happen? Suppose any disturbance happens in this AC line, suppose because of any fault happens in the AC line, and because of that, if the difference between this delta 1 and delta 2 becomes more than this 90 degree, delta becomes greater than 90 degree, then your system goes into the unstable region. It means in this region. For more than delta 90, that comes into this region, and this is the unstable region. So meaning of unstable region is means that your system goes into the blackout state, clear, or asynchronism. So we must save that your system not goes into the unstable region, or this delta not goes beyond this 90 degree. So generally in actual practice we operate the transmission line between 20 to 30 degree only. It means here in this area. Suppose this is a 20 degree and this is a 30 degree. Clear? So we generally operate the transmission line here, only this. So if we operate at 20 degree or 30 degree, so suppose any fault happens here, so maybe possible that your system goes here at 60 degree or 80 degree. But there are less chances that the angle difference reach to the 90 degree. So it means that there are less chances of the system to goes into the unstable region. Clear? So because of this region, we cannot operate the AC line at maximum power transfer capability limit. Clear? There is a capability that they can transmit up to this limit, but because of stability reason, we not operate the transmission line at angle 90 degree. It means that we not fully utilize the AC transmission line. Clear? Where in DC system, this type of problem is not possible because there is no delta, there is no X. Clear? Only the equation of power, we know that V into I. Clear? So if voltage present, current is present, we can transmit the maximum power. So how much maximum power we can transmit in the DC system? So that is up to the thermal limit. That is up to the thermal limit. Clear? So this is the advantage of DC system or HVDC system as compared to the AC system, because there is no stability problems happen in the DC system, and we can transmit the maximum power up to the thermal limit, and thermal limit is more than the stability limit. Stability limit. So it means that through the DC line or through the HVDC line, we can transmit the maximum amount of power. Clear? So this is another advantage of using the HVDC line, or we can say this is the limitation of HVAC line. Now, third limitation we'll see. Current carrying capacity. Current carrying capacity. So what is the current carrying capacity in the AC line? So suppose I assume that this is a conductor from where power is or current is transmitted, and suppose here this is a load side. Clear? It is a load side. So as we know that in the AC line, because of this charging capacitor, current is flowing into this capacitor, maybe between the line to line or maybe between the line to ground. So whatever current is here gone, suppose this current is IA plus J IR. IA is nothing but active power, or sorry, active current, and IR is nothing but a reactive current, because this is the AC current. So obviously there is a two part, one is real part and the imaginary part, active power and reactive power. Clear? But here, because of the charging capacitor formed between the line to line or between line to ground, even at the light loading condition or load condition, the current flowing through the line is same as the rated current. Same as rated current. Because some of the current is flowing into this line charging capacitance, and some of the current is going into the load side. So it means that we cannot transmit the maximum current through the line or at the load end because of this charging capacitance. So this is the another disadvantage of HVAC line or AC line, because at no load condition possible that current can flow in the line due to charging capacitance form. Clear? So current carrying capability of the AC line is very low compared to the DC because there is no reactive component in the DC line. Clear? So this is the advantage in terms of HVDC system and disadvantage for HVAC line or AC line. Then fourth disadvantage or limitation of AC line is that skin effect, and Faraday effect. Faraday effect. So what is the skin effect? So as we know that in the conductor, most of the current is concentrated around the surface. Clear? Most of the current is concentrated around the surface or surround the skin of the conductor. That's why it is called as a skin effect. So what is the reason that current is mostly concentrated around the surface? Because of the large inductance at the center of the conductor. So most of the current is flowing through the surface. As we know that this is a AC current, alternating current. So that creates the magnetic field inside of the conductor as well as outside of the conductor. So if any change in the current intensity in the conductor, that change the magnetic field, and that changing in the magnetic field, that creates the electric field or electromagnetic force. So the property of this electromagnetic force, electromotive force, is that oppose the charge to the flowing inner side of the conductor. So most of the charge flowing through the outer surface. So most of the current is concentrated through the outer surface. So it means that we cannot effectively utilize the cross-sectional area of the conductor. So what happened? Because of this skin effect, the effective area of conductor decreases. So as we know the equation of resistance of line, it is rho L by A. So A is what? That is nothing but area of conductor. Here effective area of conductor is reduces because of the skin effect. So when A is reduced, effective area is reduced, obviously R will increase. Clear? It means AC resistance of the line is increases. Clear? So what happened? Resistance increases, I square R losses increases. So because of the skin effect in the AC line, losses will be high. Clear? Because the resistance, AC resistance is more as compared to the DC resistance. You know that. Why? Because of this skin effect. So skin effect is a limitation, but it is not happen in DC line. Why? Because there is no inductance, there is no magnetic field, because current is constant. There is no change in the current. It is constant. Current is constant. So there is no change in the magnetic field or there is no induced of electromagnetic force. So current distributed into the conductor is uniform in the DC line or DC cable. So there is no skin effect in the DC line. So this is the advantage in terms of HVDC line, or you can say that limitation for HVAC line. Then what is the Faraday effect? So as we know that Faraday effect happens because of lightly load condition at the load side or no load condition. Suppose here there is a generator, voltage is V1, at the load side voltage is V2, and if this voltage V2 is greater than V1, at that time this is called as a Faraday effect. So why when voltage V2 becomes greater than V1 or generator bus voltage? When this line is lightly loaded, it means when load at the load bus is very low or no load condition. So in this condition, we observe this Ferranti effect. Clear? So what happens because of Ferranti effect? And why this Ferranti effect happens? Because of the charging capacitance formed in the line. Clear? Due to this charging capacitance at no load condition, they provide the reactive support. So because of that excessive reactive power, the load bus voltage becomes more than the sending end voltage, and that is called as a Ferranti effect. So to mitigate this over voltage effect at the receiving side, we require the reactor, line reactor, or at the bus side we use the bus reactor, or sometimes we use a tertiary winding to absorb the excess amount of reactive power and maintain the voltage V2 at the 1 per units. 1 per unit means at the rated value. Clear? So because of this Keen and Ferranti effect that increase the losses, this is a limitation of HVAC line. Again, this Ferranti effect is not possible in the DC line because there is no charging capacitance formed in the DC cable. So this is the advantage. And fifth advantage, this is a major advantage of DC line, or we can say the major disadvantage of AC line, that is nothing but power flow control. Power flow control. So what is the meaning of power flow control? So when I say that power flow control, it means that we cannot control the power in AC line in a smooth manner. Clear? So when we transmit the power from one direction to other, when we require the precise control of the power that we cannot achieve by using the AC line. But nowadays it is possible because of the fax devices. But before the 1990, where the fax device is not invented at that time, before 1990, at that time it is not possible to control the power in the AC line, because fax HVDC line is invented in 1954. At that time there is no any converters or any fax devices. Clear? So at that time it is not possible to control the power using fax devices. Nowadays it is possible, but earlier it is not possible. So what problems created? When any two utility companies make any contract to transmit the certain amount of power from one area to another area. Suppose this is utility 1 and suppose this side there is a utility 2. Both are makes the bilateral contract that utility 1 transmit this much of power, like 500 megawatt, to utility 2. So how that precisely control this? So that is only possible by HVDC line, because in HVDC line we use the converter. We use the converters. At the sending end side, suppose this is generator side, so here we use the rectifier, and this is the receiving side. So again convert this DC into AC. So for that we require the inverter. So by both this converter, rectifier or inverter, we can control the amount of power is transmitted through this DC line and in a precise manner. Clear? Where it is not possible in case of the HVAC line. Another advantage is that in HVDC line, we not only control the power, or we can not only control the voltage between 0 to plus VDC, because we know the equation of power in DC line it is VDC and IDC, where in the AC line this is a PDC. In AC line power equation what? It is VAC IAC into cos phi, power factor angle. Clear? In AC line we make the AC voltage constant and we vary the current, because current is varied depending upon the load condition. Where in the DC line, we vary the voltage and make the current constant. So this is the DC power equation and AC power equation. So in the DC power, we can control the voltage not only between 0 to plus VDC, but between VDC to 0 as well as 0 to plus VDC. So in short, I can say that I can operate the HVDC line. I can operate HVDC line in the two modes. In the first quadrant, where here is the voltage DC, VDC, x-axis there is a current IDC. So when both are positive, current is obviously constant, so it is positive, and IDC also positive. So we operate HVDC line in first region. When voltage is negative, minus VDC, we operate the HVDC in second region. So it means that we can operate HVDC in two regions. So what is the meaning of this two region operation of HVDC line? Suppose here it is a plus VDC, here plus IDC. It means your PDC is what? Positive. It is positive. So suppose in this case, power is transmitted from bus 1 to bus 2. Because bus 1 is suppose generator bus. So obviously power is transmitted from bus 1 to bus 2 or load side. And sometimes suppose here the load side also there is a generator. So we can also transmit the power from bus 2 to bus 1 also by operating the HVDC line in second mode, where DC voltage is negative. Clear? So the negative voltage, it means that negative power. So negative power, it means nothing but we can reverse the power from bus 1 to bus 2 or from bus 2 to bus 1. So reversal of power is possible through the HVDC line, but it is not possible in case of AC line. Because if you know that in AC line, and say that AC line, the active power P, that is flow from higher angle delta to lower angle delta. So suppose that the bus 1 voltage is V1 angle delta 1, bus 2 voltage V2 angle delta 2. So if this delta 1 is greater than delta 2, it means that in AC line active power is flow from bus 1 to bus 2. Clear? That is depend upon angle delta. Clear? And that delta is depend upon the load condition or length of the transmission line. So here you have not any control of the AC power. You can transmit the power only in one direction, either 1 to 2 or 1 to 2 or 2 to 1 at a time only. Clear? Here it is generator, here is the load, so you always transmit the power from here to here. Where same way we know that in the AC line we transmit both the power, AC and active power and reactive power. So what about reactive power? So let's understand that the concept of reactive power, how the reactive power flow. So reactive power in AC line, that is flow from high voltage to low voltage. Yeah. Same example, bus 1, bus 2, voltage is V1, voltage is V2. If V1 is greater than V2, then here the reactive power is transmitted from bus 1 to bus 2. But it is not the correct way to represent this, because the voltage magnitude in between the transmission line is also different because of the charging capacitance. Suppose I draw this line here, can draw the voltage profile of the whole transmission line. Suppose this is a 1 per unit voltage, and suppose this is a 1 per unit voltage. Clear? So suppose V1 is 1.1 per unit. Clear? And V2 is 1 per unit. So in normal condition, the voltage profile throughout this line is decreases. Like here at the bus 1 voltage is 1.1, and as the length of line is increases, the voltage is decreases, and at the bus 2 the voltage becomes 1 per unit. Clear? That is a normal condition. But suppose that the light load condition, it means that suppose load here at the bus 2 is very low. So what will happen? Maybe possible that this graph is look like this way. This is under lightly loaded condition. Lightly loaded condition. So you can see that here at this point, here the voltage is maximum or higher as compared to the 1.1 per unit. Suppose this voltage is 1.2. Clear? So from this point, reactive power is flow from in this direction. Clear? Where from this point, reactive power flow in this direction. Because here voltage is 1.2, here voltage is 1. So here it is flowing this direction. Here voltage is 1.2, here is 1.1. So it is flowing this downward direction. In normal condition, in this case, it is flowing in this direction. Clear? Again, there is a third condition, that highly loaded condition. Suppose here load is very high. Load is very high. So at that time, the voltage profile is maybe look like this way. Clear? So here you can see that at this point, this is a voltage profile. So here this point, the voltage is, suppose it is a 0.9 per unit. Clear? This value. So at this point voltage is 0.9, here voltage is 1. Clear? So here is voltage 1.1. So in this case, reactive power flow in this direction up to this point. But here it is 0.9 and here is a 1 per unit. So in this case, reactive power flow in this direction up to this point. Clear? So depending upon the loading condition of the line, lightly loaded or highly loaded condition, the direction of reactive power is changed. It means reactive power flow is bidirectional in AC line. Clear? Because there is no reactive power in the DC line, only in the AC line. But active power P AC unidirectional from higher angle to lower angle. Clear? So this is the disadvantage of HVAC line, that we can not control the power from one end to another end in effective manner or smooth manner. Clear? So I hope it is clear to all of you. Limitation up to this 5 point. Any doubt? Yes, anyone?
Clear, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So next, go to the next 6 point, sixth limitation of AC line, that is require the less space, compared to DC system or HVDC system. Sorry, not DC, it is AC system. So this is another limitation, require less space compared to AC system. It means the advantage of DC system is that DC requires less space compared to AC system. So to understand this limitation of AC system, here I take suppose example that suppose you design the one AC system at 400 kV. Clear? So here this rating is obviously it is in terms of RMS value. So whenever you design any AC system or any AC device which is operated on alternating current, you always rate it in terms of RMS value. Clear? You can see that in the motor as well as in any electrical device, the rating is given in terms of RMS value. So same way when you design any AC transmission line, you rate it in terms of RMS value. So when I design the AC line at 400 kV RMS, so when I physically design this AC line, at that time I design it for its peak value. So what is the peak value? So peak value of this voltage, it is √2 times RMS. Clear? So what is the RMS value? Here we designed for 400 kV. So if you calculate this √2 into 400, so it is 565.6 kV. It means when you design the transmission line, AC transmission line for 400 kV, it means physically you design it for the peak value 565 kV. Not only transmission line but insulator also. Insulator is also capable to withstand this much of voltage, not only 400 kV because peak value is 565 kV. So when you design 400 kV voltage AC line, you require the large size of insulation as well as whenever you erect the transmission line, at that time between the two conductor you require the more space. Here, suppose I draw here the one tower. So here you see that there is a cross arm here where you provide the support to the conductor here through the insulator. So here is the insulator. Here is the insulator. And this is the third insulator. Because it is a two circuit line. So here R phase, Y phase and B phase. So this is a one circuit. Same circuit here transmitted through the second arm. So here you can see that when you erect the transmission line, you require the space between two conductors here, and this space is between two conductors that is depend upon the voltage rating of the transmission line. So here we designed 400 kV, but based on the peak value we require more space between these two conductors here, where you design the DC line for 400 kV, same voltage rating, but you provide the space between two conductors, positive and negative, in the DC line only based on the 400 kV. Why? Because peak value of voltage and RMS value of voltage in DC line both are same. Because it is a DC voltage, it is a constant voltage here. So we can say that this is a maximum value, or we can say that is a RMS value. Both are same in the DC line. So you design the DC line for the same voltage rating. Same voltage rating you design the insulator. Here. And for the same voltage rating you require the distance between two conductors. Here. It means that in the DC line for 400 kV you require the less space between the two conductors as compared to the HVAC line. So yes, you can see that in the figure, if the distance between two conductors increases, what will happen? The length of this cross arm is also increases. Here. And the supporting structure of the tower is also increasing. So it means that you require the large space for the erection of the transmission line at the both the end, here and here. Clear? As compared to the DC line. So that's why this is a limitation of DC line, not only in the erection of the transmission line, but also at the substation. In HVAC system, at substation, also space required is more as compared to the DC substation. Again, the reason is same, because voltage rating is 565. Here it is DC, it is a 400 kV. Clear? So because of this reason, HVDC line is advantage because it requires less space compared to AC. Then next limitation of AC line, seventh one, that or we can say that advantage of DC line, that in DC line you can use the ground as a return. Ground can be used as a return conductor in HVDC line. Again repeat, in HVDC line you can use the ground as a return conductor, where it is not possible in case of AC line. Where it is possible in the HVDC line, there are generally three categories of HVDC line. We'll go through in detail about these three categories. But just remember that one is bipolar line, bipolar HVDC. Second is homopolar HVDC. And third one is monopolar HVDC line. So in this bipolar HVDC, we use the two conductors. One is positive and another is negative conductor to transmit the power. Yes, that's why it is called as a bipolar. In monopolar case, we use only one conductor. In monopolar HVDC, we use only one conductor. It may be positive conductor or it may be a negative conductor. And we use the ground as a return path. And we use ground as a return path. Suppose this is a one end side, A point and B point here. A is the generating side, B is the load side. So power is transmitted through this cable and returned through the ground. So that is possible in case of DC line or HVDC line, where it is not possible in case of AC line. You cannot use ground as a return in AC line. Clear? But this monopolar operation of HVDC is not we generally use, because of this ground return, what will happen or what problems are created? As you know that inside of the ground there are so many pipes, maybe water pipes, all are the conducting medium. So maybe possible that some ground level they create some potential difference, and suppose here at the ground level there are human beings transmitting. So because of the ground return, the human beings are affected by this ground return. Sometimes they affected by the shock. Yeah. So generally we not use the ground as a return because of this type of difficulty. Or maybe that in the ground line we know that communication lines passes to the ground. Clear? So if you use the ground as a return, this DC line return interference this communication lines. Clear? So because of this problem, generally we not use the monopolar operation. But yes, during the emergency situations, like suppose here we operate the DC line in a bipolar mode. It means bipolar HVDC, where we require the two conductor positive and negative. Suppose any of the one conductor it becomes faulty because of any problem, so we can transmit the power through this single cable and use the ground as a return conductor. So it means that only in emergency situation we can use the ground as a return by the monopolar operation. Clear? But we can use the ground as a return where it is not possible in case of AC line. So this is the advantage of DC line, or we can say the limitation of AC line. Then next one, eighth limitation of HVAC line, that less corona loss. All of you know that corona loss happens in the AC line, and radio interference. So if you know the equation of corona loss, PC, that is directly proportional to F plus 25. I will show you the whole equation, but you can see the equation in which this is the part where frequency is dependent. Sorry, corona loss is dependent upon the frequency. Clear? So in the DC line, we know that frequency is 0. Clear? So only this corona loss is dependent upon the certain parts of the equation, 0 plus 25. So it means that corona loss is less in DC as compared to the AC. Not completely 0, because it not completely depend upon the frequency. They also depend on the other parts. But as compared to the AC line, the corona loss in the DC line is less. Clear? Because it is depend upon the frequency. That is the one of the problems. Second advantage of DC line is that there is no radio interference. In the DC line, there is no radio interference because frequency is 0 in the DC line. So there is no effect of the radio frequency because of any other frequency, because frequency is 0 in the DC line. But yes, suppose that in the HVDC line, because here we use the converter. Here, suppose here is the sending end side, whatever we generate, convert AC to DC to the rectifier, transmit to the DC cable, and at the receiving side again we use the converter, which is called as a inverter. So we know that this rectifier, through this rectifier we not get the pure DC, we get the pulsating DC. So if we not provide the proper filtering, like this way we get the DC voltage. Ideally voltage is like this way, constant DC. Constant DC. Here. But the output of this rectifier without any filter is a pulsating DC, like this way. So if you not provide the filtering at the receiving side here, then maybe possible that in the DC line or DC cable harmonics are present. So when harmonics are present in the DC cable, maybe possible that interference the radio frequency. Clear? Otherwise, if your voltage, DC voltage is constant or ideal voltage, then there is no radio interference. But yes, as compared to the AC line, the radio frequency or radio interference are less in HVDC line. So this is the another limitation, or we can say the advantage of HVDC line. So I hope you understand all this limitation of HVAC and advantage of HVDC. That's why we go for this line. Any doubt up to this? Anyone?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. No, sir.
Sir, can we say that in HVDC system we don't use wave trapper?
Yes.
Can we say that in HVDC system we don't use wave trapper?
Yes, wave trap is used, but at the receiving side substation. But in between the DC line, there is no substation. Clear? So there is no trapping is provided against the radio frequency interference. Yes, or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because here in HVDC line, you can see that here Here is a converter, rectifier. When you transmit the power, here, same power received at the receiving side because there is no tapping here. Here, in HVAC line, we provide the number of substation to increase the voltage level or decrease the voltage level. Clear? But in HVDC line, throughout the length, we not provide any substation, except if we provide the power in between that line. Clear? Or if any other HVDC line is interconnected here. Suppose here also another HVDC line is interconnected, then may be possible that we provide here. But generally there is no tapping is provided in the HVDC line. It means there is no substation between these two ends. So there is no protection we can provide against the radio interference. Clear, all of you?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. So the main idea of the HVDC line is nothing but to transmit the large power over a long distance. This is the main aim of the HVDC line. Here. That is also possible by the HVAC line that can transmit the bulk power over a long distance. But up to a certain length, the economical reason, we cannot use the HVAC. That we will discuss in the next lecture. At what is the critical point at which the AC line becomes costlier than the HVDC lines. So beyond the certain distance, we use the HVDC line, and that breakout point is between 500 to 600 kilometer. So if breakout point is 600, it means that below the 600 kilometer, below 600 kilometer, AC line is economical. This is the one other limitation of AC line. You can transmit the economical power up to the 600 kilometers. Clear? Or maybe between 500 to 600 kilometers. If you want to transmit the power over a distance more than 600 kilometers, then you prefer the HVDC line. Clear? Because over the 600 kilometer, AC line is not economical. Clear? Because as we know that in the AC line, we require the 3 conductors, where in the DC line, maximum we require the 2 conductors if we operate in the bipolar mode. Clear? So up to the distance 600 or 500 kilometer, AC is economical, but less than 60 kilometer, more than 600 kilometer, it is not economical. Because why HVDC is not economical at less than 600 kilometer? Because of the cost of these converters. Because cost of this converter. Yeah, we use the only 2 conductor in the DC line, but because of the high cost of converters, it is not economical for less than 600 kilometers. But it is economical for more than 600. Clear, all of you? So that we will discuss in the next lecture. I will show you in the presentation also at which critical point HVDC is economical and HVAC is not economical. All of you clear this limitation of HVAC or advantage of HVAC? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you can ask your query anything. Otherwise, I will stop the lecture.